Good morning, artist. Today I'm going to open the Shinhan Professional Watercolor palette. So if you'd like to see what it's like and how it works, please keep watching. Welcome, I'm Alison, the pottering artist. Thanks for my regular viewers for coming and watching this video, and if you'd like to be a subscriber, please click the little red square in the bottom right hand corner, then click the grey bell, and then make sure that your device will receive notifications from YouTube. So today I've got the Shinhan watercolour palette in a box. It's arrived from Korea. It took about 2 weeks to come. I bought it on Amazon through a company called K-Box, and the price was £24.50 with free delivery. It took about 2 weeks to come, so that's not bad, is it, from Korea? So let's take it out. It's a grey box. It's very swish, very presentable. The packaging wasn't overly done. It was very good packaging. So we've got the palette in a plastic sheath, and then we've got a leaflet there. The leaflet is mostly in Korean with some English words. It talks about two palettes, the professional palette and then their basic palette. So it's obviously a promotional tool. If it were in English, it would probably be describing the attributes of the palette to us, but it's in Korean. Then on the back there's just more information again, which I can't tell you because it's written in Korean. It's pretty self-explanatory though, let's be honest. So we'll pull the palette out of that sheet. It's a nice size. It's how big is it? It is about 13 inches wide by 6 inches deep, and it's about an inch in depth. So it's a nice size palette. So how to push it out now? So pull it up from the middle there. There's a clip, so you pull it up. Then inside is a lovely white colour. What I notice is that underneath the see-through sort of plastic that hoses the wells and the mixing area is a white, so it looks like melamine finish. I don't know what it is, but it looks like there's two bodies to this, you know, the sort of see-through and then the white that's underneath. There are 35 wells in this palette and plenty of mixing area. So the main thing is, how does paint perform on it? So I've got a little set of paints here. Let's have a go and see how it... let me zoom in a bit for you. Right, let's get some dark blue. So what we're looking for is, right, it beads quite a bit, doesn't it, on that? That's beading quite a lot. And if I add some more water, that's beading. Okay, I'll mix some thicker pigment and see how it performs with thicker pigment. Yeah, it's still quite beady, isn't it? Okay, I'll try with a different colour paint. Let's see what that does. Let's try with this green. Right, well, isn't that strange? Look, that green paint, which is by the same manufacturer, Kuretake, behaves a lot differently. I'll add some more water to that so that it's as runny as the blue mix. No, it's holding very well. So there might be something in that blue paint that tends to bead in more than the green. Let's just try one more colour. This is quite interesting. I've never had that happen before. So let's pick a red. This is a glorious red, isn't it? A really scarlet red. Right. So I'm giving my brush a good dousing in that. Let's try this one. Oh, yeah, now that is holding its own. Now isn't that bizarre? I mean, that started to bead a little bit there now, but that red is really sitting on the palette there for us, so we can really truly see its colours very well. I'll just add some more water to make it a bit more dilute, because when you make them dilute they tend to bead up and gather and pucker up. That's not moving at all, isn't it? Isn't that great? You can really see the colour of your mixer. Let me try another blue from this Kuretake. I just want to be sure if it might just be that one colour. Let's try this. This is a more of a sort of Prussian blue then. Let's have a look, see what it does. Ah, oh, look at that. That's doing the same thing, isn't it? How strange, right? I've got to try another colour now. My mind's in experiment mode. Let's try the brown. I'm mixing up roughly the same, you know, consistency for each paint. Oh, right, that is beading as well. Wow. See, if I zoom out, look at the difference in behaviours of paint. The red is sitting there really well. The green is not bad, and the other two are not very good at all. Let's go for yellow. Well, look at that. The yellow is sitting there very well. I mean, I don't know if it's because I haven't wiped the surface of the palette before I started painting on it. Let me just get a tissue and I'll wipe all that away and see if it, because sometimes in the manufacturing process, you know, there can be a film, a residue of some sort of, you know, substance that might be causing that paint to bead. So let me give it the benefit of the doubt, because I don't want to give it a bad, you know, review if I should have wiped the palette down. I mean, because the instructions are in Korean, I can't read it. I mean, perhaps the instruction did say, please wipe down the palette before use. It might have done. If you've had any experience of this, please leave a comment in the box below. I'd be interested to know what you've had, how you've tried this palette out. Right, that's had a good wipe now, right? So all the surfaces should be equal, okay? Let's go back to that blue, because that really did not sit well on that palette. Let's go back. Come on, blue, let's give you another try. Let's see if you can sit nicely on the palette now. A little bit better, but it's not brilliant. You know, that I wouldn't call that satisfactory at all. I don't want my puddles to end up like that. Okay, you can't see what you're doing. Let's try the red again. Yeah, no, that red is good as gold. It must be something to do with the pigment in the blue, because we've... Let's try this blue in a completely different spot on the palette then. Let's try that. No, it's still doing it. It's still doing it. Okay, so that blue, whatever it is, it's not happy sitting there. Let's try another red. Let's try this red. This is a really deep carmine. Yeah, see, that's better. Now that's how I'd expect the paint to sit on a palette like this. Okay, let's try tan. A bit more water so that I'm doing the same sort of mixture for each paint. Tan. Oh, that's not very happy either, is it? Look at that. Let's try tan somewhere else on the palette just to be sure it's not that patch. That's not working. Yeah. It's all beading into little balls, right? So what I'm going to do is just try a different brand of paint. I've got a lot of Winsor & Newton paints here now, okay? So I'm going to pick up some turquoise paint. This is on a different palette, which I'm going to talk you through in a second. Now see, that palette's holding quite well, isn't it? That paint is by Winsor & Newton, and it's not beading much at all, is it? And look, it's in the same area, right in the same area where that tan colour by Kuretake isn't sitting very well. So folks, it's we've got variables here. It depends what brand paint you were using. Now this is a Marilyn Alice palette. This is readily available online, and again, this isn't a bad palette either. Look, you know, the paints are sitting there quite nicely. I'll give you the link to this. It's an affiliate link via my Amazon page, by the way, in the description. So there we go. Let me just continue with the Shinhan for now. So what you would do is you would come along with your tube paint and you would squirt some paint in the palette there, and then you would use it. Now what you can do then is you'll be doing your painting, and then when you're finished you'd want to close the lid, wouldn't you? So if you've got paints in there and you've been using them, they're going to be a bit runny and messy, aren't they? So when you close that lid, they are going to run over everything that you've got in this side of the palette, aren't they? So that's the one drawback. So what you'd have to do is you'd have to let these all dry, and that to me defeats the whole point of using tube paint. Why buy expensive semi-moist tube paint if you're just going to let them dry out after the first use? I don't understand that, but that's my personal preference. A lot of people do it and they're happy to try and re-wet their paints, and that's fine. That's so if you're happy to let your palette stay open and let those paints dry, then of course you can use all those wells, because when you eventually shut it, when everything's dry, there's going to be no problem, right? But if I were to keep this palette for me, I would only put paints in there. I'd still have, you know, about 17 or 18 colours. That's plenty. So it's a nice palette. It's a nice surface overall. It depends what brand paint you're using, obviously. So I would keep my paints in there, my tube paints. I'd squirt some in. I would keep them moist through the week by opening the palette up and giving them a little spray of water so that they don't dry out and get that custard skin on them that I don't like. So, and then I would shut my lid, and that would keep them nice until the next time I used it. So I'm sort of 50-50 on this. It's parts of the palette seem to be working well. It seems to depend on what brand of paint you are brushing onto the palette as to how well it stays flat or whether it starts to bead or not. So that's my opinion. I really am 50-50 on this palette at the moment. Now this is the Marilyn Alice palette. This is a nice palette. It's around £10–12. It's from the UK, and again, it's not bad. You know, when you mix your paints on there, that's quite a dilute mix. Now if I add more pigment and make it quite thick, it doesn't bead up terribly. It's not brilliant. Again, I think it might be an issue with the blue paints. Let's try a red. This is Alizarin Crimson, Winsor & Newton. Now that's holding its own quite well, isn't it? So this is a nice little palette. It's you know, the mixing area doesn't bead terribly, right? That's also got a lid, the Marilyn Alice one. Now this is my Jackson ceramic palette that I featured in another video that I did recently. Let's get some colour going on this. And there we are. You know, this is ceramic, and it doesn't tend to bead much at all. If I add some more water, you know, you look at that, you can really see, can't you, your mix, your colour. Let me add some more water, make it more dilute again. And even with that amount of water, look, it's still not beading up. But because we've had problems with the blues, let me just go to a blue colour and see what happens there. Sorry, this is Lunar Blue by Daniel Smith. No, that's all right. That's doing nice as well. So far, ceramic has my vote. Okay, but the Marilyn Alice isn't bad. The Shinhan, I'm 50-50 on that because the handling of the blues was terrible. I think the Marilyn Alice is much better, don't you? I mean, the Shinhan, it went to tiny little pinprick type beads, really, didn't it? So I hope that's helped. Sorry if it's not, you know, conclusive. Things in the art world rarely are conclusive, are they? So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. As I have mentioned in the video, the links that I've got in the description are my Amazon affiliate links, which means if you click on the link and buy a product, Amazon gives me a small percentage at no cost to you, and that little percentage helps me, you know, buy products and review them and keep my art channel going. So if you do buy them, thanks very much.